Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Francesco Mochi Sismondi, and I'm excited and honored to represent the Untitled Live project today with this vibrant community of Geneva Immaculades. Just before telling you about our project, I thought it'd be great for you to feel what we're all about, to feel our essence, and give you a bit of a taste of what our project is all about. So you're about to listen to Evelyn Iuliano, a magnificent soprano voice from Bergamo in the north of Italy at the very heart of the European outbreak of COVID-19. Evelyn's magical voice will interpret Signore Ascolta, the aria of Liu from Giacomo Puccini's masterpiece, Turandot. Ladies and gentlemen, Evelyn Iuliano. Evelyn, the stage is all yours.
Buonasera a tutti, buonasera, io mi chiamo Evelyn Iuliano, sono un soprano e questa sera canterò per voi un'aria tratta dall'opera La Turandot di Giacomo Puccini. Quest'aria si intitola Signore Ascolta. Grazie. Grazie mille a tutti, thank you so much e ci vediamo adesso su Zoom per una chat. Grazie.
Ciao.
Good afternoon.
Oh, bellissimo, bellissimo.
Hopefully Evelyn will join us shortly.
Ah, Evelyn is there, I can see her.
Ciao Evelyn. Evelyn, ci senti? Evelyn's line is still muted. Eccoci.
Okay.
Ciao Evelyn.
Ciao, ciao Evelyn. Sei stata bravissima Evelyn, grazie.
Grazie.
Grazie. onorati di poterti sentire e vedere oggi su Art Up Live e Geneva Macro Labs. Che bella voce e canzone, un vero piacere. Spero che anche tu sia felice di essere qui stasera.
Molto, molto, è un onore per me, grazie mille. Sono un po'
Oh.
emozionata.
Siamo emozionati tutti noi, Evelyn, come sai già da qualche ora ci stavamo esercitando un po' tutti, insomma. I'll try and translate a little bit, but this is part of the beauty of what we think this project's about. We've been trying all day. There's been plenty of backstage interaction, some of it with you, Renate, but there's been plenty of work with the technologists, Evelyn, and many others to make this happen. It may appear somewhat seamless, but there is a lot of work that goes on in the background. Evelyn, sei stata veramente fantastica, per noi non sei più una novità, abbiamo avuto l'onore di averti prima, siamo fierissimi di averti qui con noi anche oggi. Magari parto con la prima domanda che poi tradurrò, ma la domanda è come ci si sente a vivere così, a performare davanti a uno schermo, a un telefono, a un computer. La traduco e poi aspetto la tua risposta. My question to Evelyn, which I'll then translate, is how does it feel for an artist to perform in front of a phone or a screen? Clearly, this is so different to what people like Evelyn, and I said in my intro, Evelyn comes from Bergamo, at the very center of where COVID really struck us at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Vai, Evelyn.
Beh, allora, in realtà è un'emozione molto forte. Per me è la seconda volta, ma non è cambiato nulla. E devo ammettere che anche se io non vedo il pubblico, lo percepisco. Quindi l'emozione è altissima e è strana come esperienza, perché uno che non lo vive pensa, vabbè, non vedi nulla, e invece è emozionantissimo.
Grazie. Evelyn's response is it's very emotional. She might be at home in front of a screen, but she perceives the same emotions as if she was on a stage. So she can't see us, and that you should keep this in mind. When she's performing, she literally doesn't know whether there's a person, a million people, or nobody at all. And yet she has the same vibrations, the same emotion, as is the case when she goes genuinely live.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Ciao and buona serata. Thanks for connecting and welcome to the Geneva Macro Labs online talk, A Virus Meets Arts. My name is Renate Günther, and I have the pleasure to be the Vice President and one of the co-founders of the Geneva Macro Labs. And I want to take the opportunity to thank ArtHub, Francesco, Evelyn, for their great contribution to our online talk today, but also all of you for participating. I see some familiar faces who have been attending our previous online talks over the last weeks, and it's a pleasure to see you again. You might remember that we've been organizing these webinars related to the pandemic since the lockdown period forced us to stop our face-to-face after-work events. And today is the last one before the summer break, before we come back in probably September, and we are happy to celebrate that with you, with ArtHub, and with our artists, Evelyn and Eoghan. And for those who don't know the Geneva Macro Labs yet, just some quick words. We are a do tank that combines a research tank with a multi-stakeholder exchange platform to leverage the unique institutional, financial, and human capital of the Lake Geneva area and beyond. We bring leading minds together from the public and the private sector, as well as from civil society, for example, through these weekly webinars to help achieve sustainable development goals. I have the pleasure to present our speaker today. You have seen him already, Francesco Mochi Sismondi, one of the co-founders of the ArtHub project. Some of you might have seen him already during our March webinar, where he spoke about risk management. And just to give you a short bio, Francesco was brought up in Roma, and he has 20 years in finance and banking that he acquired in London, and most recently in Switzerland, where he resides with his wife and the 2 kids. Francesco, do you want to tell us a little bit more about your desire to make a bigger impact in this world and your passion for sustainability and hackathons? You have the floor, Francesco.
Thank you, Renata. Thanks so much again for having me again and for allowing us to present our project with this forum. Yes, I spent the last year really exiting my financial sort of background and trying to reinvent myself in many different ways, trying to be more creative, innovative, and trying to build out new things. I've been testing a lot and getting myself stuck into hackathons recently, which is what got us to this. The European Commission launched the challenge just over 2.5 months ago, and it was in that context that a first few WhatsApp messages were triggered to Fabio and a few of my other founding friends and colleagues, some of which are on the line here, to respond to that challenge. The challenge that the European Commission launched was how to resolve the greatest COVID challenges. And we married the cause of arts and culture. In particular, we had a friend and one of our founding members, Erika Pagan, who's also a soprano artist in our team, and we modeled our solution around her. She was located in a country house in Umbria, at the heart of Italy, far away from her audiences, far away from her stage. So we thought, well, if she can't get to her audiences, let's get her audience to her, and let's build a streaming solution that would enable precisely that. That was an idea on a blank sheet of paper. We managed to qualify ourselves as one of the winning projects in that hackathon, and that rolled us into 11 further weeks of bursts of ideas in getting us to speak to you, amongst others. So perhaps if that's okay, I'll share my screen. I'll just present a little bit of our story. Renate, if that's okay, I'll start doing exactly that. Hopefully you can see my screen. Could I get anything? You can. Great, okay. So Art Hub Live was born to connect artists and audiences everywhere. Our vision is to redefine the boundaries of live performances, making them accessible to everyone and everywhere. So at the very heart of what we're here to do is democratizing access to arts and culture across every pocket of society. And this applies as much to the artists, meaning we could have pockets of underprivileged performers that may suddenly have a stage for them that they weren't able to do previously. And at the same time, we can start thinking of streaming Evelyn's voice, as we've just heard right now, in any corner of the world. The problem statement started off at the heart of COVID in solving for key problems such as digital divide and social exclusion, and in particular, economic support. All of the artists right now still are struggling, and they are one of the least defended classes, if you like, from the various financial aids coming from the European Commission, governments, etc. Things are starting to move a little bit, but fundamentally, small independent artists are on their knees without a steady revenue flow. That's what we're really sort of triggered by in solving for these three key problems. We started looking at the market, and we immediately positioned it as we think this slide represents. With the megastars at the top, there are some great artists. I'm sure you'll have seen many over the pandemic times, from your sofas and bedrooms and living rooms, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. But it's the large volume of the local, small, independent artists and theatres that are lost. They don't have deep pockets to tap into. They don't have the infrastructure to recreate their businesses and reach new audiences. And that's where we see a gap, which is what we're here to do. We also believe there's a world of hidden treasures. Today, there are platforms, I'm sure some of you know, such as TikTok, that streams work of billions of users every month. We may have different views as to whether that all qualifies as art. It certainly is live entertainment. But over time, perhaps there will be a much larger market of artists out there that can start monetizing on their performances. We went live 2 days into the idea generation. So from a blank sheet of paper to Erica's first event on a cobbled POC, proof of concept solution. So that happened on the 26th of April. We've had 750 plus social media followers. That's increasing quite rapidly. Registered users are increasing as well. We've had 14 artists on our platform already. We've had 13 free events so far. So whilst the objective is that of monetizing artists, for the moment, we've had to render them free. There are a number of copyrights matters that we still have to work through. So until we work those through, we can't really start triggering payment processes. Nevertheless, we've enabled donations to artists, and that's already started moving capital from audiences into artists' back pockets, which we're very grateful for, and in a way validates what our theory is, that there is an audience of people that value this work and are prepared to pay them for viewing those performances from the comfort of their home. What we think is one of our unique propositions is the interactiveness of our events. So not only do you listen to Evelyn and Owen, which you will after will be done with our webinar piece, but you get to speak to them and you get to hear about their lives and what they're about and where they are living and why they performed what they performed, which we believe is really unique. That's not the type of thing you typically get when you go to a theatre and when the curtains draw closed. We also believe in sustainability. This is a great time, and lots is happening around the world to really kick off a company and enterprise with sustainability at the very core. So we've overcompensated the CO2 emissions from our computer consumption, so to speak, through tree planting, and have gone beyond and started to shape up our company, putting SDGs at the very bottom of our thinking. There are a number of SDGs we feel we're fully aligned with a number of action plans, but fundamentally economic sustainability, meaning enabling economies, enabling the art community to thrive. Environmental sustainability by planting trees for ourselves, but also to offset the carbon footprint of our artists. We plant a tree for every one of our artists that comes on stage. And socially, we envisage taxing ourselves from ticketing revenues once we'll trigger those, to enable performances to reach those pockets of communities that simply do not have physical events nor digital events. So we'll have to create them in care homes, in orphanages, in hospitals, for instance, to trigger arts and culture in those places where perhaps it's most needed. Our story's been a burst. It's been very short, but very fast. So we've been live for, I think this is our 11th week. As I mentioned, we kicked off at the hackathon from the European Commission. That won us an award and propelled us into a matchathon, which was the European Commission effectively created to match winning projects with potential public and private partners. We've reached a number of partnerships since then with universities, with art companies, with cities, with innovation hubs. And we then subsequently won a Swiss hackathon, the Versus Virus COVID hackathon, which won us access into their own incubator, which is an ecosystem that helps small startups effectively build out from a project to an outright startup. So this is where we are right now. We're growing our our minimum viable product awareness, trying to spread the word, bring more artists on board, but fundamentally to get our technology more stable to enable performances like these. We just kicked off our crowdfunding today, which we're very proud of. That will be key for us, of course, to build out a bit of stability. And from then on, hopefully we can start reaching more artists, more registered users, and start expanding our technology solutions. There are unlimited possibilities once embracing technology, digital-driven performances from home. There'll be all sorts of ways we can enjoy Evelyn, not only from her home, but we can start imagining her playing from Jupiter or the sun, perhaps. We have an exciting, mostly Italian team, I'll admit, not by design. We have a number of collaborators. So whilst I am Italian if you like, having grown up there, I've been living abroad, as Renate introduced at the outset of the call. Fabia's based in Dubai, and a number of us are based in other locations, including a whole host of new resources we've recently brought on board from a fantastic community called We Make Change, an impact-driven volunteering organization that has been able to propel us into expanding our remit in many different ways.
This is a sort of graphical picture of some of the partnerships we've pulled together in such a limited amount of time, which we're incredibly honored for. A lot of these are interactions in kind, more than in payment, so to speak, but nevertheless access enables us to access communities, networks, and broker conversations with technology players, which we to be able to scale up our solution. That's about it. I don't think I need to get into much more. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of what we need to scale. Clearly, we are a startup. We're in our primary infancy stage. There's plenty we need to do to, primarily from a technology platform, Evelyn and all other artists like Eoghan and so on, the confidence that the technology is there, it works properly, it's plug and play. It's far from that right now, and that's where we're going to need to put a lot of focus and efforts. But we do relentlessly believe this is market. There's a need for it, and we're here to seize that gap. So I'll stop there and hopefully open up to a few questions and answers. And please, let's bring in the artists as well, Evelyn and Eoghan, into the fold here, as they really are, you know, the representative of who we're really trying to support.
Thank you, Francesco. My name is Marianne Schörling. I'm leading the stakeholder engagement at Geneva Marco Labs. And I would like now to first thank Evelyn, the wonderful artist, who made this online talk so special. We are also very happy, Francesco, that you collaborated with us in preparing that special online talk for us before we go into the summer break. And we will now be starting our famous Q&A session. For those who are joining us for the first time today, our think tank is all about including different voices, different perspectives on new technology, on new ideas, on innovation. And today is a bit a different format because we just experienced live what it means to embrace technology and how innovation can actually lead to a change in a whole system. And what I would like now to do is to dive a bit deeper into what ArtHub is about, and you all have the opportunity to directly ask to Evelyn or Francesco, and as well to Eoghan, who I will shortly introduce, your questions about this innovation, about the platform, but also broader reflections on how the cultural sector might evolve in the future. I will start off with a general question, and then the floor is all yours. Please participate, use this opportunity to get engaged and to get a better understanding how we can all contribute to support the cultural sector, which is actually an important sector for our economies and for our societies. So I would like to start off now with the question, a very basic one, Francesco. We do know that the cultural and creative sector includes a wide range of activities. It includes music, literature, performing arts, but also museums, libraries, festivals, design, artistic expressions of all kinds. What is the field of activities, of artistic activities that you are focusing on with your digital platform?
Right now, I think I said from the outset, we built a dress around Erica, one of our co-founders, as a soprano artist. We had to make it fit her. Erica is an amazing artist, and through her, we're building out her own network, if you like, organically. We can't go too fast, as otherwise we'll just trip up and stall, if you like. But conceptually, at least visionary, we don't set any limits around the types of performing arts we can support. And that's, you know, we want to build a technology solution that can support and embrace any type of performing arts. We had a visual artist. We're working with a Cirque du Soleil type illusionist, if you like, street artist, we could call him. We've had actors perform on stage. We've only just started, but I think the opportunities here are endless. And I don't thought of all of them ourselves. We have started thinking about all sorts of other possibilities, such as enabling, so Erica, which I see is also here online somewhere, is not only a great soprano artist, but through technology. And you can start thinking about all sorts of forms we can use technology for to support this kind of interaction.
Okay, great.
So
Thank you.
Frankly, from that perspective, of course, we can't go wide right away. We have to focus on an MVP and try and stay focused, at least for starters.
Right. So given the fact that we can enjoy now having you, Francesco, who's kind of representing the startup behind Art Hub, and the collaborating artists with Evelyn and Eoghan and Eric, I would like to raise Renate's question to Evelyn, who actually, we just heard it, you were at the center of where the virus hit Italy the hard. It on a personal level, how to respond to the virus, how to be resilient. Your voice, Renate writes, your voice is your capital. I definitely would agree. It's how you make a living, a professional living. So would you tell us a bit more how you managed actually as an artist to live through this difficult time, and how you managed actually to stay healthy?
Evelyn, se posso tradurre rapidamente, poi ti ascolteremo. La domanda, prendo leva di cui parlavamo prima, è venendo proprio dalle periferie di Bergamo al centro diciamo, del clima, dell'epicentro Covid, come te e la tua voce avete reagito a questo clima e come ne stai venendo fuori?
Beh, non è stato semplice. All'inizio lo sconforto è arrivato abbastanza, si è fatto sentire, perché la paura era tanta, le notizie ogni giorno pesanti, poi anche tante persone vicine a me sono state coinvolte. Io stessa poi purtroppo ho perso mio nonno, non è stato facile. Come cantante, anche qui ammetto che all'inizio la paura dell'ignoto c'è, nel senso che il nostro settore, ora come ora, cammina sulle uova, nel senso che non sappiamo cosa succederà, se ripartiremo, come ripartiremo, aiuti. Tanto non ce ne sono, ecco, molto spesso, quindi ha fatto paura questo periodo. E io ho continuato a studiare con la mia insegnante, che appunto è Erika, non mi sono fermata mai, e questo è stato un bene. E alla fine di positivo c'è stato che ho lavorato tanto, ho cantato tanto e poi sono approdata anche su Art Hub e ho avuto la possibilità, insomma, di andare avanti, di andare oltre, anzi sicuramente di fare dei passi avanti molto importanti, perché comunque Art Hub io credo che abbia un potenziale enorme, anche perché l'arte e la cultura io sostengo che debbano essere proiettati nel futuro anche in questo modo, e anche il nostro settore, che è quello della lirica, che troppo spesso è considerato elitario, attraverso questo canale magari ci può avvicinare anche a un pubblico che di solito non ci segue. Ecco, scusate se ho parlato tanto.
No, grazie,
Grazie.
Evelyn. Cercherò di tradurre le tue idee, i tuoi pensieri. Evelyn started off explaining if you want, the remarkable news, of course, which we all heard about from Bergamo, that affected some of our own direct network, and the passing of her grandfather. So she's clearly been directly impacted. At the same time, as we outlined earlier, the wider industry and the support has been incredibly low, almost non-existent, very difficult to navigate this space. And for Evelyn and many of her sort of artist class, it's a bit like walking on eggshells. There just isn't a clear future right now. Nevertheless, Evelyn has kept her head high. She's been studying, she's been evolving, and under the tuition of Erica in our team as a teacher, she's continued practicing and getting better at her trade. And thankfully, through Art Hub, has found an outlet for her voice, and through that, not only practice but also connect with a new audience. And this itself, as a community, is an opportunity that's been created for Evelyn. So thankfully, Evelyn gives us credit for that, and that, I suppose, to a degree, proves part of our point. Underlines also that she's also of wide belief that this type of technology can start demystifying the perceived elite perception there is of certain performing arts, like opera maybe, or ballet maybe, for instance, as well. Through a digital platform, this type of art can really penetrate and be absorbed by a far wider cross-section of society, which goes back to the earlier point around democratization of access to arts and culture. Everyone should be able to appreciate an opera, not just the 100 seats available at the Scala di Milano, for instance. Everyone should really have access. Grazie, Evelyn. Una risposta molto bella e ben strutturata.
Thank you, Francesco. Thank you, Evelyn. And actually, I'm originally from Vienna, and we do have with the Musikverein the same measures that only 100 people are allowed in the big room. So this is an example how we are experiencing that disruption in the cultural sector. But I would like to go back to what Evelyn kind of raised, and you mentioned as well, Erica, and thank you, Erica, that you are in the call today as well. I would like to have a look at the solopreneurs. I mean, if you look at the statistics, we do know that at least as it concerns Europe, 33% of the professionals are self-employed. So that means their vulnerability to disruptions like the one that we're currently facing is much higher. I would like to understand from your perspective, how does Art Hub address in particular the interest of solopreneurs?
Ci sei, Erika? Traduco. Sei on mute, Erika. La domanda essenzialmente è la stragrande maggioranza del settore che stiamo rappresentando, che voi rappresentate, è dei libri professionisti. In questo istante i libri professionisti non sono un granché sopportati, quindi se ci sai dare delle insight, farci capire un po' qual è la vita e quali sono le difficoltà a cui fate fronte attualmente.
Beh, al momento è veramente, buonasera a tutti innanzitutto, al momento è molto molto difficile, anche perché le prospettive di una ripresa, diciamo, a pieno regime si ventilano nel marzo 2022, quindi insomma non sarà un momento facile. E ovviamente se le produzioni possono, diciamo, essere viste da pochissimi spettatori, è chiaro che la torta, che era già piccola, diventa ancora più piccola, quindi le possibilità di esibirsi per tutti i liberi professionisti sono veramente molto poche. Quindi l'idea, il futuro è altamente incerto. Soprattutto io parlo in particolar modo del settore Italia, ci sono non solo i cantanti liberi professionisti, ma più di 300.000 lavoratori dello spettacolo che dietro le quinte hanno dei guadagni, delle famiglie che devono mantenere e che in questo momento sono veramente in grandissima difficoltà, di cui forse si parla meno. Con Art Hub abbiamo un po' per sfida cercato di aiutare veramente questa categoria, perché è un paese senza cultura, un mondo senza cultura, un mondo povero. Quindi la voce di Evelyn questa sera ci ha regalato emozioni, e chi ha il dono di poterlo fare ha solo voglia di potersi far ascoltare e di poter far sentire quanto è bello questo dono a tutto il mondo. Quindi con ArtHub appunto stiamo cercando di espanderci e di far capire attraverso il web che possiamo anche noi del nostro settore, che è un po' più, diciamo, antico, poterci esprimere, poter essere presenti e poter fare delle cose belle per tanti, insomma.
Grazie, Erika. I'll try again and translate. For your question, Marianne, Erika explained that the prospects are terrifying, really, extremely uncertain prospects. In many cases, theatres and concerts aren't expected to go back to normal before 2022. And even when that will happen, or until that happens, possibly under very high restriction levels. So the access and the possibilities for artists are extremely low. They're undefended from a remuneration perspective, not part of wider organizations, so that they're not really accessing pockets of funds as perhaps other companies and parts of, you know, other industries are. We should also keep in mind that this isn't just about Erika and Evelyn. There are other people that are linked to this sector, which often are even hidden behind the scenes. So technicians and costume you know, makers and directors sitting behind sort of theatres, for instance, which is part of Evelyn's and Erika's world, that are impacted, as are their families. So it's really quite a grim picture, and we take pride in the fact that Erika herself launched herself not only as a soprano artist, but as an entrepreneur in helping us shape this this startup, if you like, to help defend this case and create an opportunity for artists to do what they're good at and to do what we need, and put beautifully in her own words, a world without culture is a poor world. So we absolutely do need arts and culture and try and amplify it. Actually, this is an opportunity to amplify it more than we had it before.
Well, these are a great reflection. Thank you, Erika. Thank you, Francesco. I would like now to move to the questions of the audience, and I can see that Ellen Koslow has posed a really interesting question. Ellen, would you like to pose yourself? In that case, you will have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute myself. I'm retired and I'm on a fixed income. And one of the great things is, since the March 15th, I've been able to experience art events that I would never have been able to experience before, either because of location or because of the cost of going to them. And so I'm wondering if there's going to be special arrangements made for indigenous people who are hard to access art events, for the poor to access them, and for people who are retired and on a fixed income to access them. Thank you.
The answer is absolutely yes, Alan. We see this platform being accessible to everyone, both as artists and as audiences. So if you imagine what happens in the physical world in a sort of an outright performance, you'd go to a gig, to a pub, to a theatre, to a show in a theatre, and there'd be limited seats at X price, whether it's francs, dollars, euros per ticket. The moment we can start enabling the streaming of that performance online, you suddenly start exponentially widening the accessibility of that performance, and therefore working on extremely lower price points. So we'd envisage that a typical event, we haven't really worked on the full proposition, and of course there will be a degree of higher end artists versus lower end, but I'd be very surprised if we'd ever be talking about double-digit figures. We're thinking of $1, $2, €3, €5. This isn't yet scoped out yet, but that's the way we envisage the platform to work. It will work on scale, and therefore on far lower prices, and therefore making them accessible to all. I mentioned the social sustainability aspects as well. So even to the least privileged, so to speak, we had the privilege of talking to an artist in Cape Town with whom we are starting to envisage how to bring our performances to townships in the suburbs of Cape Town in South Africa, which was just a beautiful possibility we started to sort of open up to. The moment we have a digital streamed event, we can bring it anywhere at extremely low cost.
Just a quick follow-up. Besides for the platform to perform it on, are you also thinking of mechanisms for publicizing it to people who, to communities that would not normally even think about having access to these things? Again, third world, indigenous people, and poorer countries, and not just that saying that you're going to advertise it to them, but have you thought about mechanisms to do that?
We have to keep in mind we're just 74 days old at last count. I might have got the day count wrong, Alan, but we have absolutely thought about this, and we've gone beyond. We've spoken to refugees here in Switzerland, for instance, that have put us in touch with a band in Burundi, for instance. I just mentioned townships in Cape Town. We want to deliberately and explicitly pursue our social sustainability agenda and reach out to those underprivileged and less accessible pockets of society. As to how we do that, Alan, I think that, frankly, the very first thing we need to be able to do is have confidence in the technology solution. So we've actually been quite shy on the marketing as a whole, irrespective of the audience. We can only really start doing that constructively when we have the technology stability to be able to start widening out our outreach. But absolutely, what you articulate is at the heart of what we'd like to do.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. I really like that we are actually having deep reflections on access and who is included and who you have thought about in terms of the communities that you're addressing. And it kind of speaks about the immaterial value that the cultural and creative sector is providing our society with. It's not only about having the technology in place to provide access, but then again, it's art itself is a way of expression, a way of innovating and interaction. And that brings me to a question before actually we'll raise the floor back to the audience. Francesco, this question is for you. Where do you see, or how do you see the artists taking on a new role with Art Hub in order to allow for that global cross-border communication or cooperation, which is essential for a time where multilateralism, for instance, is in danger?
Well, we just applied yesterday for a Culture of Solidarity Fund, which asks or is enabling a pocket of funds to enable digital distribution of cross-border performing arts. I think what we've just seen today is an example of that. Evelyn has just performed from her house in Italy to a network of international people. What I see happen, where we'd like to certainly go is make this whole process much smoother. I mentioned plug and play. Ideally, Evelyn and any artist should be able to download a piece of kit, a piece of software, and register on our platform, create an event, and through her own direct network, as well as ours, amplify her voice and visibility wherever we have reach. Of course, it will take a bit of time to build that network out, but I'd invite you to reflect on the beauty of the network effects through digital media. If Evelyn was to play in any given theatre anywhere in Italy, it is quite unlikely she'll bring all of our network in a physical location. It's far easier for her to bring that network in a digital location, and that happens across the board for all artists. So we're starting to see that a lot of the network we're building out is coming from the artists and the crossover of the different art disciplines. So suddenly we may have had Evelyn's followers as soprano artists, and then they'll get to hear an Irish songwriter, which we'll hear about shortly, and they'll start having a chance to see something else and taking an interest for a different genre of performing art. So we do feel that there are all sorts of different interactions and crossovers to learn new art types, access them, make them extremely widely available at low price points, and frankly, round the clock, because that's how we live. I'd imagine this platform to start having, a round-the-clock feature. What's going on right now? You can plug in and hear a lyricist in Tokyo, or maybe a pianist in South Africa, or wherever it may be.
Thank you. And as you can see, those who are following the chat, there are about 6 new questions coming in. I would like to maybe move to Diego's question for Francesco. Diego, do you want to take the floor, take the microphone?
Sure, yes, thank you. Prima di tutto, complimenti per Evelyn sobre la canzone. Again, yeah, my question is related, like you are looking for partners, and I'm thinking specifically in technical or technological partners, as I am leading a startup also related to art, and I would like to know how can I achieve or introduce you this project, so maybe can fix in this global idea. And in any case, congratulations for the project.
Thank you very much, Diego. I think the best thing is that we exchange business cards and speak offline. But in essence, we need to strengthen our streaming and web stability. We are a proof of concept. I'm not going to get into the merits and details of how we're rendering what we're doing now. You can imagine what we had to do.
I know that.
Is on the back of a shoestring, so to speak, and we just simply have to give it greater force. That's why we are funding. That's why we launched our crowdfunding. Is to start professionalizing this service, to start buying outright equipment, and also interacting with bigger players that already have the technology and can marry up with what we're trying to achieve. I'll probably leverage your question and mix it with one of Eoghan's, which I see around how we're reshuffling the deck, because I think it's related. We do absolutely believe there is a new opening here for smaller artists, that we will be able to gain greater share in a different way. We are extremely keen on artists in getting the lion's share of the cake. We haven't really spoken about the business model, but if you think of how, and I probably should have made it clear at the outset, anyone can stream today. Any artist can go on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and I'll let you guess how much of that cake the artist actually gets. It's basically nothing. Actually, Eoghan, you're probably the best suited and best prepared and be able to give or shed some light on that. We see the lion's share of the cake going back to the smaller artists. So from right now, the Evelyns and the Ericas and the Eoghans wanting to use this sort of technology can stream their services and get the bigger part of the cake. That's answering 2 questions in one, but Diego, back to you. I think we probably need to take this offline. I'd love to talk to you on a separate line, and maybe we can get into the details of what it is we really need, outline who we've been talking to. There are lots of different partnerships we're working with in different ways, but we certainly do need help. We need resources, we need ideas, and there's plenty to do. So if there's any, and that's part of what we're here to do as well, to hopefully find access to resources and people that are willing to help us along the way. So I'll take that as an offer to help and speak offline.
Thank you so much in any case. See you.
Great, thank you. I can see the last question in the chat is about the appetite for digital shows. This is a question from Adi, and he's asking if you have the statistics at hand regarding online show attendance. I know that we have statistics around the participation with Netflix, etc. That kind of gives us an idea that the hunger, the appetite for online performances is growing, and Netflix just gained 15.77 million new paid subscriptions just in the month of April. So we do see there is a trend, but I would like to move to a question around the challenges that address the scaling of your solution. And this question, I think, comes from Björn, who has asked if the online can scale much better. However, this means that we need less performances and less artists to reach the same audience. So do you see there a challenge where only few artists will benefit from online art?
I don't see it that way. I don't see why only few artists should benefit from this. I actually see how technology will benefit all artists in being able to change their lives as well, complement their physical lives even post-COVID. They can start becoming smart workers. Why are artists confined to being solely restricted to working in a theatre? They have every right, as Evelyn just beautifully did from her own home, to access pockets of audiences anywhere in the world. So I don't particularly buy that view. Just think of how we all used to love going to the cinema, and then Netflix came, and suddenly where are we all consuming media? We all used to go to football stadiums to watch football, and 20 years ago we digitalized football consumption from our own homes. So I think COVID just accelerated the inevitable transition of performing arts onto digital platforms. I don't think they will eliminate the physical ones. I think they'll just amplify and complement them. So we're very excited. The numbers we're looking at look very interesting in terms of demand. There are challenges, undoubtedly, and one is competitive challenges. There are lots of other players possibly thinking of doing the same, and many maybe out there are better equipped than us. Think of some of the giants out there. We think the pillars upon which we're building out our platform are the better ingredients, or that's what we're convinced about, in putting the artist at the center of the scene, and not the profit-driven shareholders' back pockets at the heart of the whole game. Thank you, Francesco. That kind of is related to a question from Michele, who is talking about the value of music in difficult times. Michele, I can see you are with us. Would you like to take the mic?
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the artist and to the performance, and more important, congratulations to the project entirely to bring the idea into something concrete. That is the real point. My question is about the effect of music. I mean, we all experience, especially in Italy, that at the beginning of the pandemic time, music was a kind of glue, was a kind of way to express emotion. What were your experience about that? Did you have any direct experience of the emotion expressed by music, and especially what you think the value of the music in difficult time? Thank you very much. Well, I think Owen, Erica, and Evelyn are far better placed to answer that question. They are sort of the primary speakers and representatives of it. I mean, I can tell you that when Evelyn was playing, I felt emotional, and I've been at this 70+ days, and I'm a novel. I do like arts, and I do like music, but as an amateur, I'm not a professional in that sense. I do think it connects people, and Erica, I think, put it beautifully. A world without arts is simply a poor world. We absolutely need it, and I think in times like this, it really sparks creativity. That's what I think on behalf of the whole Art Hub team. Erica's voice and Erica's world has contaminated us in a creative burst. I come from, I'm going to say, boring finance, where creativity isn't often on the menu. I certainly feel galvanized and re-energized just being in this space right now, and helping build this out for what I think is certainly a far wider purpose.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. What we're gonna do now is I would like to present to you Owen, who has been mentioned quite a lot now in our discussion. And the reason why I've waited to the very end to present Owen to you is that he will be our artist who is closing our online talk today. But before, I would like to say a few words about Eoghan. Eoghan, you are an artist, you are a musician, a songwriter. You're originally from Ireland and working as a communication professional. You live in Switzerland, so this is something you have in common with the Geneva Marco Labs team right now. And we are really honored that you will perform for us tonight and share your passion, your way of expression with us. But before we do so, and we're enjoying your art, would you like to share with us some final thoughts on how you experienced living through the crisis as a musician, as a professional, and how did your exchange with the audience change? I know that you have been present in many offline face-to-face events. You played at different festivals. So you experience what it means to connect with the audience. How did that change, and what was your experience?
So there's a lot of things that I feel like saying, so many reactions to the things that I've heard already. But I suppose, sorry, they're just setting up my stream here now as well. I'm just getting loud in my own ear. I suppose what I'd say is I'm fortunate to not rely on my music for to make my living. So I work as a communications professional in the region here, the Geneva area. But I have so many friends who are relying on music, and it's just been a devastating time for them. Their income has disappeared completely, just gone. And just today, I'm a member of the Irish Association of Songwriters, and I got an email from them today, and it was about different things that they were doing to help their members during this period. And the very first item in that newsletter was about help with mental health issues. I mean, this goes beyond just income. This is at the very core of these people and their existence, and they've just seen their life fall down. And while we're all talking about economies opening up again and society opening up again, the very last thing to start again will be live music in venues. You know, I play a lot in bars and pubs and things like that, and it's just not a safe place at the moment to do that. So what Art Hub, I think, is offering and is promising is this kind of democratization that Francesco has talked about, and opening a way for artists to make that kind of direct connection with their audiences, where their audiences can support them in a kind of patronage model. And I think that's where music needs to go to. I don't blame technology, and I don't blame Spotify, and I don't blame Amazon and Google for taking away the income. You know, that's what happened. The music industry developed how it did. But there needs to be a rebalancing and a shift, a paradigm shift, a full shift to a new way of supporting musicians and performers of all kinds and artists of all kinds, whereby the money that we used to spend on buying physical music and the money that pre-COVID times we used to spend on going to see live shows in venues, the lion's share of that money needs to go to the people who make the art and the people who facilitate the making of that art. And that's what I think, that's what Art Hub can do. And it's what, you know, I actually sent an article recently to Francesco about Bandcamp, which is the kind of anti-Spotify, I would say, in that they are allowing musicians to take control. Musicians on Bandcamp can say you can pay what you like. If you can't afford to pay anything, you get it for free. Or if you want to pay €2 or €5 or €10 or even €100 for a recording, you can do that. And so this is the kind of model I think that Art Hub is looking at as well, to be able to really have a direct connection, cut out the middleman, and have this direct connection between musicians and their audiences, between artists of all kinds and their audiences.
Thank you, Eoghan. That was actually a very deep political call, I think, for all of us, and not only for policymakers, but as well for us as members of our communities, where we can actually make a difference, and we play a role and have responsibility to don't let the cultural and creative sector diminishing in the future. So thank you so much for your reflection. And in this on this note, I would like to thank our audience, our participants, our faithful followers of our webinars that we started actually with Francesco in March or in April this year. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we will, as we just mentioned, we will start our summer break after this online talk, and we'll be back in the second week of September, but we'll share, as usual, all information through social media. And yeah, thank you everybody who participated. Thank you so much to Francesco and the whole team. Thank you, Fabio. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Owen, Evelyn. We are now showing you how you can get in contact with us. We are on social media, but also are available through our website. We will make a recording as well from this online talk, and you will be able to review it on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and stay healthy, stay well, and let's enjoy the different ways of expressions. And now the floor goes to Owen, and I would like to ask you now to go back to the arthublive.com website that you just have opened before joining the Zoom call, where we will be able to once again enjoy ArtHub as a stage, as a virtual room. And in this on this line, enjoy the summer, but also continue the discussion with us. We'll be connected, and hopefully we will see, and I'm convinced we will see ArtHub taking on the next stage, so that your technology solution will be able to change the life of artists and help them to embrace digitalization as solopreneurs, but as well as professionals. Thank you.
Just remember to click the link.
You will find the link in the chat. So
I'll
see
send
you
it as well.
online.
See you on the other line. Bye. All right, let's see, Owen.
I hope you can hear me safely. No doubt I'll get a little message on my phone here if that's not the case. Thanks for the really enjoyable conversation, and the rest of the ArtHub team for inviting me to be part of this event this evening. So I'm going to sing a couple of songs for you. Francesco said I had carte blanche, and so in fact I have a little bit of background noise there. Sorry about that. I have thought about lots of different songs that I could sing for you, and in fact, listening to the Macro Labs team this evening and looking at the mission, I think that the best song that I can start with is this one, which is called Sleepwalking, and I think it speaks for itself. So here we go. Wake up, turn your head on and take a look around. Speak up, say what you need to say. Make up your own mind, 'cause no one else can tell you what to say. Wake up to where you are now and where you want to be. Get up, now is the time to start. Stand up for all that you love and all that you believe in with your heart. We have only got one life. Live it well and right. Are we blind to what we see? Ignorant hostility. All the while we're only sleepwalking. Be the change you wanna see. Take responsibility. Otherwise we're only sleepwalking. You see the you wanna be. Take responsibility. Otherwise we're only sleepwalking. So that is a song called Sleepwalking. I hope it came through loud and clear to you there. I have, as we mentioned during the chat, this strange experience of singing to a screen, and the only person I can see is myself reflected back. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to sing one more song for you. This is a song that I wrote a long time ago, maybe 15 years ago, something like that, and I often finish a concert with this song, and that's what I'm going to do now. It is called The Night Before, and it's kind of a love song to alcohol, I suppose. Here we go. I'm seeing colors, vivid flashes of real light. I'm twisting words, turning phrases inside out. I know I used to have a brain, but I'm in doubt. It's got to be the morning after. Sweat and smoke stay on my clothing and my skin. Fragments of memories are slowly creeping in. I feel a pounding head beginning to kick in. It's got to be the morning after. The night before I tasted drinks I'd never tasted in my life. The night before I had conversation with a girl I kinda liked. The night before I told a story, sang a song and picked a fight. I found the bottom of a bottle, said goodnight. Need water flowing down my neck and through my veins. Maybe a drop of something else to chase the pain. I'm swimming home to sweet relief through pouring rain. It's got to be the morning after. The night before I tasted drinks I've never tasted in my life. The night before I had conversation with a girl I kinda liked. The night before I told a story, sang a song and picked a fight. I found the bottom of a bottle, said goodnight. The days are right off might as well go back to bed and try to sleep some more to cure this shaking head, and curse the fact that later I'll just do it all again until tomorrow's morning after. I tasted drinks I never tasted in my life. The night before, had conversation with a girl I kinda liked. The night before, I told a story, sang a song and picked a fight. I found the bottom of a bottle. Drinks I've never tried. The night before, with a girl I kinda liked. The night before, I told a story, sang a song, picked a fight. I found the bottom of a bottle. I found the bottom of a bottle. I found the bottom of a bottle. Said good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Thank you.